Hey, I'm Fluffy, and this is what I picked up on Record Store Day 2024 Black Friday edition. So, my day started off at Record Safari, a record store that does not participate in the Record Store Day exclusive titles. I decided to go there first because I wanted to meet up with some people in the VC. That's where they stopped at first, too. Uh, I usually go to Amoeba first thing, but decided to go to Record Safari. I got to Record Safari kind of late, not too late, but before they opened, there was already a small line. I think by the time that I was already in line, the line had gotten larger or longer, and I waited in line for about half an hour until they opened at 9, and it was pretty overwhelming for me because I don't know how many people they were letting in. I think they were eventually letting everyone in because by the time I got there, the walls were already empty. Like it was madness. But that's good for a record store. Anyways, I only picked up a few things. I want to say a lot of these are were blind buy galore, and they're all jazz. So be prepared. First one, I got this Ted Curson on Arista Freedom. Typically, these Arista Freedom titles are reissues of earlier titles that were once put out on another label, and they usually go for tons of money. I think this is one of them. This is Ted Curson, Tears for Dolphy, of course, Eric Dolphy, who had passed in 64, and this was recorded in 64, hence the title of the album, Tears for Dolphy. Ted Curson here is playing trumpet, piccolo, trumpet, with Bill Barron on tenor sax and clarinet, Herb Bushler on bass, and Dick Burke on drums. I've seen this record online before, but have never actually streamed it. So when I got this record handed to me by courtesy of Rob the Waxed, I knew I had to grab this because one, Record Safari has some killer titles for good prices, and two, I think they had they were having a sale for Record Store Day. I think it was like 10% off. I can't remember, but this was priced at 5. Got this for a bit cheaper, not that much, right? So I'm happy to have this. And yep, on Arista. So happy to have that. Next up, another record that was handed to me. Actually, all of these I think were handed to me at Record Safari by Rob. And this is one that I knew I had to get because I have. This is a must own in my personal opinion. If you're a jazz fan, if you're a fan of this musician, I knew I had to get this one eventually, and it's finally here. This is Keith Jarrett, the Cone Concert on ECM 1975. This is a double LP, and I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of Keith Jarrett, and I don't own any Keith Jarrett until now. So I'm happy to have this to start my collection of Keith Jarrett records. And not to mention, on ECM, a jazz label that I've been telling myself to start collecting more of. But every time I go to the record stores, I just kind of move away from the ECM stuff. So I gotta stop doing that habit. $10. This was a little bit cheaper because of the discount that Record Safari was having. Happy to have that. Another one, which is actually a Record Store Day title from a previous Record Store Day. Want to get more of this musician? This is Jimmy Giuffre, the 3 and 4 New York concerts, and as you can see, Record Store Day. But it's not from this Record Store Day. This was from 4 years ago, April 18th, 2020. I gotta say, Jimmy Giuffre is one of those cats that I have. This musician has my interest, but a lot of the times when I look for Jimmy Giuffre records, they're either, for whatever reason, expensive, or B, they are uh, in rough shape. So I didn't know this one existed for a Record Store Day title. I It says here 2 LP gatefold limited edition, never before released on LP. And yeah, Zeb Feldman is the one involved in this. So I'm happy to have this and spin it. I haven't spun this one yet, as you can see, it's still sealed. But thank you, Rob, for handing this to me. to buy. Okay, after Record Safari, I decided to go on with Rob and go to another to head off to other record stores, and the next stop was Amoeba. Amoeba, they they had a surprisingly not that large line. When I was heading to Record Safari, I had to pass by Amoeba, and Amoeba's line was not that long, surprisingly. Probably because it's Record Store Day Black Friday. Typically, when it's a regular Record Store Day in April, it's long as heck, but this time around, it's either people are not interested or people are, away with family because it's right after Thanksgiving. So, whatever the reason is, the lines were not as bad as I thought they would be. Anyways, Rob handed me a record that I won from his auction, and he handed this to me when we were heading out. This is an ESP title. Let's see, what is this? The Giuseppe Logan Quartet. I've been wanting this record for some time now. As you guys may know if you've been watching the channel, I've been collecting ESP discs, and more of these titles on that label are just getting stupidly harder to find for a good price, and this is one of them. So this is a reissue. Rob was telling me that this was like a Italian reissue, and it's supposed to be a legit reissue, not like one of those bootlegs or whatever. But yeah, I won this one at his auction, and I haven't spun it yet. Like I said, I'm just now making this video. I know I'm a little late. It's on this Bass Records label from Italy, so I can't wait to spin this one. Um, I'm sure it'll sound good. I came to Record Store Day with a very limited budget, so I went to a few record stores and I only bought from two record stores, admittedly. So this next few records was all from Amoeba. First one, Jeff Parker, ETA Quartet. This was a blind buy for me, though a blind buy, not so sort of blind buy, because I had already listened to the tracks or two tracks on Bandcamp, but that was the only stuff that they allowed to show. This is Jeff Parker, the guitar player, with his quartet, Josh Johnson, who plays alto saxophone with electronics. Let's see, Anna Butters on double bass and Jay Bellerose on drums. This is some good stuff. I've only listened to one disc so far, but this is a double disc, and I think this is either still available on Bandcamp or maybe you can find this online now for a good price. This is fairly new. I don't know much about Jeff Barker, only that I've heard of his name before, and yeah, when I listened to the first disc, I was really like happy the way this sounds. Um, I don't even know what label this is on. I think this is called None Such. I could be wrong. International Anthem Recording. I don't know. There's so many like labels on here that I don't know which one's the legit. What caught my eye was really the album artwork, which I had thought when I saw this the first time, I had thought this was like an old session or like an old like I thought this had already existed in the past, that they were going to either reissue this or this was going to be uh something that has never been, like sort of like the Resonance stuff where they they put out a record that of a recording that has never been out before. But it turns out this is new, so I'm happy to have this. This was recorded in last year. By the time of this recording, this was recorded last year in 2023, and yeah, pick this one up if you're a fan of Jeff Parker. Highly recommend. The last two, like I said, I went to Record Store Day with a really tight budget. I decided to get Record Store Day exclusives instead of the wall records. So, which two records did I get? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say that I went and got the two records that I really wanted on Record Store Day. Um, and here they are. First one, Bill Evans in Norway. This is a elemental music with done by Zeb Feldman. It says here on the hype sticker, audio transferred from the original stereo tape reels and mastered by Matthew Luttons at the Mastering Lab, featuring Bill Evans, Eddie Gomez on bass, and Marty Morell on drums. This is my favorite Bill Evans period, like trio. Previously he had, of course, Scott LaFaro, the late Scott LaFaro, and Paul Motion, and of course other bassists and drums in the past. But Eddie Gomez and Marty Morell were the ones that stuck with Bill Evans for the longest time in terms of the Bill Evans trio. I have gotten a good number of these Bill Evans Record Store Day records. This is a double LP. Might as well show you guys at least one of the discs. This is how it comes in. I was able to listen to both the discs, and they sound spectacular. I'm so happy to have gotten this one. I think they had a few copies left at Amoeba, but like I said, um, the line was very not that long this time around for Record Store Day. So I think a lot of people were happy that they got the titles that they wanted, or at least the people who are jazz fans. But Bill Evans plays the usual tunes on here: "Come Rain, Come Shine," "Autumn Leaves," "Emily," and of course "Nardis." Typically, Bill Evans likes to end out a recording with either Nardis or Five. Might as well show you guys the Bill Evans records that I have so far on of Record Store Day. So I have this one, which was put out I think last year or 2 years ago. I have Bill Evans in England, Bill Evans, Ronnie Scott's, which this one I think out of all of them is probably the disappointing one. Let's see, which one's this one? Oh, okay, Bill Evans Inner, what is it? Inner Spirit. This is one I have to revisit. This is another one that I have to revisit, but I like these covers that they do for Record Store Day, Bill Evans titles. This one, Bill Evans, Another Time. This is probably my favorite Bill Evans Record Store Day title that they put out. And then, of course, now I have this one, Bill Evans in Norway. I did used to have more, but during the time that I was somewhat purging my records, I let go of Live at Top of the Gate, and I can't remember the other one, but it's like a grayish green cover of Bill Evans with Jack DeJohnette. So hopefully I'll get those two back soon. But in the meantime, I have a stack full of Bill Evans Record Store Day titles. So yeah, but yeah, let me know if you guys picked up that Record Store Day title by Bill Evans. So this Record Store Day title is the one that I really, really wanted the most. And I'm not sure how many Amoeba ordered, but when I was there, this was the last one there. And when I saw this, I immediately grabbed it. Which one am I talking about? Well, this is Emily Remler cooking at the Queens live in Las Vegas, 1984 and 1988. This is a 3 LP set that Resonance put out for this Record Store Day. I am gonna be honest, I had no clue who Emily Remler was until people started talking about this particular title. And when people were saying how much she sounded like Wes Montgomery, I'm not exactly sure if she was trying to play like Wes Montgomery, but my goodness, here's the venue that the concert took place. And this is her, Emily Remler. Her playing is so magical. It's very captivating. I would say that had she lived, I think she would have put out some more great titles. Um, but I'm happy to say that this is the first Emily Remler record that I have in the collection. I'm gonna be looking for her stuff even more now. And yeah, the lineup here is Emily Remler on guitar, Gocho Arbe on piano, Carson Smith on bass, Tom Montgomery on drums, and then there's a trio form with Emily Remler on guitar, Carson Smith on bass, and John Pishy on drums. This is my number right here, 713 out of how many were these pressed? 2300. 2300 press, which is not a lot. I'm not sure if there will be more of this, more numbers. But yeah, comes with the booklet. I should have said this for the Bill Evans, but the Bill Evans also comes with a booklet. Here's a picture of Emily. Here's a picture of the Scotch tape. Very, very neat. And yeah, this is I haven't gone over the booklet yet, but at the same time, I haven't listened to all of Emily's all of the disc on here. I've only listened to disc 1 and disc 2. Like I said, I wanted to put this video out. I did put out a short video on Instagram. If you are not followed on there, I highly recommend it. Which I thought it was fun. I couldn't put it here because I did put a song that would copyright me, so anyways, yeah, that concludes my vinyl purchases of Record Store Day Black Friday 2024. After Amoeba, I went to Freak Beat with Rob. That was my first time going to Freak Beat. And then after Freak Beat, we went to Atomic, which both Freak Beat and Atomic have great records. And then the last store that we went to was Run Out Groove, which was my first time going to Run Out Groove. I had already been to Atomic once during the Mazzy meetup. That was fun. But yeah, those three stores that we went to, I had already blown my budget, so I didn't get anything. But yeah, now I know where to go when it comes to wanting records. Anyways, hopefully you guys also picked up some good stuff. Let me know down in the comments if you guys did participate in Record Store Day, as in you guys went out and supported your local record store. That's the very best thing to do if even if they don't have titles. So let me know down in the comments below. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.